A rare and scary sight out west this afternoon. That would be a funnel cloud just to the east of Denver International Airport. Not the kind of thing you see every day. Luckily, it moved on away from population centers.
That's a tornado.
Watch as this EF1 tornado makes a landing approach on the runways of Denver International Airport. Thousands of passengers at the terminals race to the basement and shelters as the funnel cloud nears.
The National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning.
The normally bustling concourse is eerily quiet.
Take shelter immediately.
Nearly 10,000 travelers huddled nervously in the bathrooms, waiting for the all clear, while severe thunderstorms and strong winds battered the runways.
You don't expect hot weather. Alaska, an unusual heat wave continues today. The high in Anchorage Tuesday hit 81 degrees. That breaks a record set in 1926.
The land of polar bears, sled dogs, and frozen tundra knows it's cold. But this week's record heat has left them caught off guard and headed to the beach. Record low temperatures just a month ago are now shattering heat records, including 96 degrees in Talkeetna, Alaska.
This time of the year normally brings highs in the mid-60s.
Probably the most notable is Talkeetna. That's up on the Susitna Valley, and 96 degrees, their high temperature yesterday. It was an all-time record high. Their previous record was 91 the day before.
The satellite view shows an unusually cloudless sky above, and there's plenty of time to enjoy it. It stays light out 19 hours a day this time of year.
Well, visitors say it's really nice and locals say it's very dangerous, because it's going to increase, there's always like a pro and a con. So we're like, yay, the weather's great, we can get out. But also in other parts, there's going to be a lot of fires starting and a lot of glacial melt, a lot of flooding.
Recent recurrent floods and landslides triggered by heavy rain have affected over 17,000 people in northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. The weather condition has also seen major and continuous disruptions on local roads. The torrential rain, which began Friday, hit much of southern Xinjiang, including Aksu, Hotan, Kashgar, and Kyzyl-Suk Kyrgyz regions. Meanwhile, wet conditions in the worst-hit area of Aksu on Tuesday evening destroyed large stretches of farmland, stranding more than 700 farmers. Infrastructure in the region, including bridges and roads, was also damaged from the torrential rain. A local highway maintenance station staff member who has worked in the area for more than 33 years said that he has never seen so much of a flood hit the area like this before.
Amazing video from Europe where floodwaters have swamped parts of France and Spain. Intense flooding from heavy rain and melting snow sent a camper trailer floating away down a swollen river, and it forced the evacuation of thousands of people in Spain. At least 2 people in France were killed by the floods.
For the second time in a week, participants at the Swiss Federal Gymnastics Tournament in Biel in Switzerland had to flee as storm winds of 130 kilometers an hour swept through the site. Several people were injured by falling trees and trapped under debris. Heavy rainstorms in Switzerland and flooding in France continue to cause havoc.
A rare hailstorm in June has struck Switzerland's second most populous city of Geneva Thursday afternoon, causing severe losses to local vineyards and disruption to traffic.
Parts of France are on orange alert as savage storms leave a trail of destruction in their wake. The southwest region is on storm watch as the unseasonal tempest-like weather claims a third life. A 54-year-old woman drowned in her car in the Landes. Overnight, a mini tornado struck the Côte d'Or region, laying waste to 60 houses and leaving 15,000 homes without electricity. In the French Pyrenees, flash floods showed no mercy, sweeping away all in their path.
Storms buffet the coast of New Zealand Friday, bringing with them torrential rain, snow, and gusting winds that have left parts of the country in turmoil.
Thousands are still without power following the worst weather in the capital since the storm that caused the Wahine disaster in 1968. Planes, trains and buses were cancelled this morning.
The storm hit the south coast head-on, with winds gusting up to 200 kilometres an hour. It wrenched roofs from houses, left rubble and debris strewn across the road, and when paired with powerful waves, it was truly destructive. Roads were torn up, parts of the seawall destroyed.
In the last 24 hours, we've had near record snow in parts of the South Island, more than a metre at Mount Hutt, sparking an avalanche there.
Large parts of New Zealand have been battered by what's been described as a once-in-a-generation storm.
Now to the extreme weather this evening and to those winds fueling wildfires in the west. Families just returning home in parts of Colorado tonight as new fires now burn in that state and in Arizona now.
Tonight, out-of-control fires are chewing up the west. Here in Colorado, some residents are coming back to the Black Forest, finding more than 500 homes reduced to ash.
I can't even tell what the hell anything is.
Highly destructive fire seasons are becoming the new normal. It's partly because more people are building homes like this in overgrown forests, but scientists say it's also made much worse by climate change. Climate experts blame extreme drought and global temperatures running hotter than average every single month for 28 years straight. And research shows wildfires already burning bigger and more often, on average torching twice as much ground as 40 years ago. Plus, fire season is now 2 months longer than it used to be.
Further north in Canada, the opposite problem. Torrential rains have caused the worst flooding in decades.
Calgary, Canada's third largest city, is underwater. The unprecedented flooding in the province of Alberta has killed 3 people and driven 175,000 others from their homes. Alberta's Premier, Alison Redford.
These are flood levels and volumes like we've never seen. The speed at which they're coming is entirely different, and the impact on communities has been really tremendously tragic.
It began Thursday when record rainfall and melting snow funneled down the Canadian Rockies.
More than 5 inches of rain fell in less than 24 hours. Overflowing rivers swallowed vehicles and washed away roads. When the water rose, it rose fast, sweeping homes right from their foundation.
Part of downtown Calgary has already been evacuated. An ambulance company says one person was swept away by the flooding. In the nearby mountains, the Trans-Canada Highway is shut down because of mudslides.
Rushing waters closed the Trans-Canada Highway and forced the evacuation of all of downtown Calgary. Mass transit was shut down, and the city's NHL arena was flooded to the 10th row.
Meantime, early monsoon rains have created a crisis in northern India. Officials say more than 1,000 people have been killed in flooding and landslides that have destroyed roads, bridges, and communications. Tens of thousands are stranded or missing.
Around 50,000 people remain stranded in Uttarakhand, which has sustained heavy infrastructural damage and seen whole communities washed away. The past 5 days have seen early monsoon rain catch everyone by surprise.
For almost 2 unrelenting weeks, this has been a monsoon season like no other. Whole apartment blocks swept aside. The figures of those affected give a glimpse of how big this crisis is. The government says around 35,000 people have been rescued, but almost 20,000 remain stranded.
The Mines and Geosciences Bureau continues to study how a portion of a coastline in Candelaria, Zambales collapsed over the weekend. But the agency says it's still too early to call the incident a sinkhole.